Guys, today we've got millions of dollars worth of early Jordans being stolen. Sneaker reselling seems to be back, and I'm getting you ready for the top 10 best sneakers dropping in March. Welcome to the midweek re-up. A bit of a weird one today. There's a bunch of randomness going on. Got a few big stories that we need to go through, and then we're gonna get ready for March. It's crazy. March is just stacked. Some release updates for drops that are literally starting tomorrow. The Union Jordan 1s, of course, being the massive one, that is dropping tomorrow. Now, just keep in mind, this is going to be through Union's new website. So it's basically unionjordan2025.com. I think most important thing to keep in mind is that they've now confirmed that it is going to be a global launch. So this is probably going to be the best opportunity. I imagine they have most of the stock. Again, no Nike sneakers app release has been announced as of right now. That certainly could happen, and I would say is likely, but nothing is confirmed, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do make these things pretty limited. Either way, that's your heads up. Just be ready for tomorrow because a lot of people are after these things. The very next day, February the 28th, we're getting the Joe Fresh Goods New Balance 992 Aged Well, a very nice colorway. Now, this release is the global one where they're dropping on newbalance.com, and it should be a couple other retailers as well, although I haven't really seen any raffles load up as of right now. But New Balance is going to be dropping them on the 28th, so just be prepped for that if you are after this pair of shoes. Now, we just got on-foot looks for the upcoming Lil Yachty Air Force One Lucky Green is what they're calling these things. These freaking so colorful. They're definitely a little bit of a notch up from what he originally dropped in terms of, I guess, newness, differentness, uniqueness, let's put it that way. So they're coming all over patent leather. They are green, yellow, red. They're definitely flashy. You got the little Concrete Boys logo. It looks like it's embroidered on the back, although that could be some kind of rubberized 3D stuff. I wonder if people are going to prefer these to the originals. Like, I know the originals had the main issue being like they were too simple. That's what a lot of people were saying. So I don't know. Do you prefer these things or not? Either way, drop date for these is some point summer 2025. No exact release date. But speaking of Lil Yachty, he also just teased an upcoming CPFM Nike collab. He posted some pictures of him wearing a couple different pieces. First of all, this knit sweater, which looks pretty crazy, but these pants look extra cool. So you got the Nike Flea branding, you've got the Air branding as well. I assume that's embroidered from what it looks like. Here's a better shot of the jumper around the back. You've got Just Do It and the number 72. Tell you what, CPFM collabs with Nike are usually pretty dope, especially in like the apparel or clothing range. No release dates for this, just at some point pretty soon. I imagine if he's teasing it, this is probably going to drop within the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for this. Jordan Brand is going to be dropping a dad shoe about 6 years too late. So this is the, well, they're calling this the Jordan Trunner. I guess it does take a lot from the Jordan Trunner. They've just made it some kind of mesh runner style. I actually don't mind the look of them. I'm not the biggest fan of like this plastic thing that moves up. I feel like if that wasn't there, these would be a lot more of that kind of dad shoe style. And we don't have too many pictures of this, just like this shot and then these two down here. You can see like the outsole and everything. So yeah, heavily inspired by the Trunner, or basically it's just like a modified Trunner. But you've got the suede, you've got the mesh, and I imagine these would be pretty comfortable, although I'm not entirely sure what kind of foam they're using. I've also never tried the actual Trunner, so I'm not entirely sure how soft they feel underfoot. But that seems to be like a key element with a dad shoe. You want them to be comfortable. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose. Either way, this new lifestyle model is going to be dropping holiday 2025. Let me know what you think about these. But a pair of Jordans that they recently just teased, which all of a sudden I'm actually pretty hyped for. I mean, I wasn't originally, but take a look at this. This is the Awake New York Jordan 5. Now, I really did not think that they would go this crazy with this collaboration. I thought it was just going to be some crazy little colorway and that was about it. But no, they have changed these up significantly. So you've now got like this whole cutout with an A, the Awake New York logo, literally right over the mesh, which I think is super cool. Never seen anything like that before. They've also changed the 23 round here to be NY for Awake New York. Makes sense. And it seems like the base shoe of this is the Fire Reds. They just changed like the white for pink, which I'm not mad at all. You've got the Nike Air branding around the back, and it looks like they're gonna have like the NY and the 23. So the 23 is present on the left shoe, at least that's what it looks like from this shot. This was just a real random little leak. I think they were launching like a new clothing collection, so they just had the model wearing them, and that's when everybody was like, yo, those are the Awake New York collabs that are dropping later on this year. Honestly, this wasn't on my purchase list this year. I wasn't even considering this pair of shoes, that it was going to be any good. But first looks, I'm pretty impressed. These are quite nice. As far as release, these should be dropping August the 29th, and I think an important thing to kind of keep in mind is that they're also going to be doing a racer blue colorway. So if they do this, but just in racer blue, I'm going to be after those blue pairs because I'll wear blue more than pink, but I just hope that they keep all of the little details on that other one as well. Now, if you guys have been hanging around the channel for a minute, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of like super slim shoes that have been kind of trending recently, like the Sambas or the Puma Speed Cats, but if there was a slim, low profile shoe that I was going to buy, it might be these. This is the Puma Rumbout physics bending levitation sneaker. So they legit are calling this the levitation, so you can see like the crazy thing that's going on around the back. I mean, it doesn't seem that extreme. Like they added this plastic thing around the heel to kind of make it look like it's almost suspended in this plastic cage, but it's a pretty cool look, like if you ask me. The rest of the shoe also looks pretty nice. It's like a super slimmed down futuristic version of the Puma Speed Cats. You got this dirty version over here. I wonder if they're actually releasing it like this. I imagine so. Here's an on-foot shot of these things. No laces, just a very, very slim. It almost looks like a cycling shoe. But here's the part that's gonna make me not want to buy these things, and that is the retail price. So we don't exactly know how much the sneakers cost, but we do know that this sock shoe that they're going to be releasing, which is somewhat similar except it's a sock, is $384. So if the sneakers are even more than that, then you can miss me with this whole collaboration. Either way, release date on this should be March the 1st as of right now. So if you are super interested in these and you don't mind paying $400 plus, then there you go. Speaking of expensive shoes, somebody is selling the freaking F&F SB4s for $12,000. I mean, all we've seen about this pair of shoes so far is that they are friends and family. We saw somebody wearing them. That is it. So maybe this person who is selling this pair of shoes online, I think it's a size 10.5 that they've listed for $12,000. Maybe they know that these are just insanely limited or something, because $12K is a ridiculous ask. I do wonder how many pairs they actually made of this one. I mean, it was like rumored to actually release earlier on, but yeah, it turned out to be friends and family. Either way, this pair is never going to release to the public, although what I do see Jordan Brand doing in the future for this pair of shoes is just releasing a new colorway every single year. Like that seems very, very likely. But while we're on the topic of Jordan 4s, this is a crazy story, and it involves those Nigel Sylvester 4s that are upcoming next month. Nearly $2 million worth of Nike shoes were stolen in a train heist, and that's as ridiculous as it sounds. Like, you know, when you see those freaking movies where you got the train and you got the people on the horses next to it freaking jumping on there stealing like that's exactly what this story is. Well, okay, it's a little bit exaggerated. They didn't use horses. Now, we've been talking about freaking, you know, different thieves targeting Nike's supply chain, and it's been going on for years. It's a massive problem for them. It almost seems like every month we get some kind of news story about how millions of dollars of Nike sneakers have been stolen. This one is especially interesting because of how they did it, and then also how they got caught. Now, Sneaker Legal did a great post where he went over all of the details from the actual, I think this is like a lawsuit or something towards the criminals, but there's so much detail on like how this actually went down, how they got caught, and all of the ins and outs. So obviously the thieves were highly organized, super planned out, this whole thing. So they got intel from somewhere about where these trains were going to be and which ones specifically to target. And once they did that, in order to get this train to stop, they actually cut the brake hose in it so the whole train would come to a halt. Now, their getaway vehicle was just a massive truck, and what they would do is just as soon as the train stopped, they'd jump in there, grab as many boxes of sneakers as they could, load it up, and drive away. They also noted in here that some of the thieves actually jumped onto the train while it was moving, like literally out of Fast and Furious. But what's really interesting is that they actually made away with 1,900 pairs, almost 2,000 pairs of the Nigel Sylvester 4 specifically, this unreleased pair. They also got a bunch of other models as well. I think in total it was estimated estimated to be $440,000 in one hit. But how they got caught is pretty cool. So Nike themselves actually hid a tracker in one of the Nigel boxes. So when they stole all of these shoes, Nike, well, obviously Nike gave it over to the feds or the police or whatever, and they managed to track these thieves down and arrest them all. In total, they arrested 11 suspects, but I'm sure they're only a small part of the actual crime ring that is all targeting Nike. Like, this is a huge thing that's been going on for ages. I'm sure they have like a bunch of people all involved in this. Now, this is always a weird one, like when these people manage to steal early shoes, because oftentimes they end up just selling it on places like StockX and GOAT, and that kind of plummets the price before the release because there's just so many early pairs circulating the market. Like we recently saw, there was this one, over $1 million worth of stolen Nike and New Balance sneakers recovered in Chicago. This was literally what? Yeah, that was this month, published on February the 4th. And you can see here with this shot, they've got all of these Amar Manure 3s, and that's why the price of this specific shoe is so low. Like, I know the police kind of recovered this pair of shoes or this amount, but I'm sure a bunch more were stolen, not just these people. Like, it's a huge issue for Nike, and they are getting absolutely ran through by these criminals. So what we can see here is that these, thefts actually do affect the resale prices before these shoes drop. So it's going to be interesting to see like what happens to all of these shoes after they've been stolen. Do the police kind of recover them and then give them back to Nike, or is it held onto by the police as evidence, and then that amount of stock is actually not there when it comes to the drop, so they're a lot more limited? I don't know, but I thought it was a wild story. We definitely had to speak about that. It's pretty hilarious. We just got a confirmation of an upcoming Fragment, Union, and Jordan collaboration. Now, we have been speaking about this for a while. It's been rumored that this was going to be dropping. This is the Fragment, the triple collaboration, and this is a speculative mock-up of what it could look like, which does turn out to potentially be pretty accurate. You see this one over here with the, the gray and the black? That could be it. But these are all different samples. So you can see you've got the UNC Royals, which we saw leaked and rumored a while ago by Union. Then we've got this like darker blue one over here. That could also be the triple collab. Obviously, the Chicago's at the bottom there. This weird like brown one, which is interesting, like Sail and Brown. Either way, it's confirmed we're going to be getting this triple collaboration in 2026. Thank God, because if they dropped this year, it's just too much. There's just so many shoes dropping that I need. So I'm glad I'll save some money for 2026 if I have to. But also an interesting thing is that a lot of people are asking them about the UNC colorway, the UNC Royal one that they did. And that is just a sample. They said that they made 100 pairs of those and they're not entirely sure what to do with it. They're going to do some kind of charity auction or something like that. But it was supposed to be the second colorway. They just decided last minute that it just wasn't for them. So we're never going to get a drop of those UNC ones. That's been confirmed. But a triple collaboration with Fragment, Jordan, and Union, let me know if you would cop that. Right, so we've been enjoying, sneaker reselling kind of taking a nosedive and almost disappearing for the past couple years. We could find a lot of great sneakers at retail or even under retail. A lot of sneaker resale stores have been dropping off of the map, just closing up shop because they cannot afford their different physical locations. But is that all changing in 2025? Maybe. We're only in the second month and already a lot of these crazy sneakers that have been dropping are all reselling for a ton of money. So of course we got the bread ones going for $500. Like, I had no idea that these were even reselling, like a lot of these shoes. I assumed they had a little bit of a premium on them, but I'm just so used to now never checking resale prices because I just assume they're kind of around retail. The Galaxy Foam Posits $375. I had no idea. Black metallics is crazy because I've seen a few places that are still selling them for retail, but they're $315 apparently. And then obviously the Union ones, I think they're going to be a ton. Nigel Sylvester's are also going to be a ton of money. So basically what a lot of people are saying is like, is reselling back. They're licking their lips. These resellers are back on the block. I don't know. All I do know is that this is just the beginning. Like, this is really just the beginning. We have so much more chaos going on in 2025 with undefeated off-white Jordan 1s. Like, I don't need to list them all, but we're getting some even more crazier drops. This could be the return of sneaker reselling in 2025. Honestly, I kind of thought that this would be the opposite and it would kind of kill reselling, and like a lot of these hyped up sneakers that were dropping would just be high stock, everybody can get them, and they would all end up being like around retail. But this trend of Jordan Brand making stuff a lot more limited limited is definitely present. Like, a lot of these sneakers were super limited. Bread ones were like damn near impossible to get. I tried so many different ways to get those things for retail, and I just could not. And that hasn't happened for a Jordan 1 release in a very long time. So I don't know, is sneaker reselling back? Maybe. But with that being said, let me get you guys ready for March. So we're gonna go over the top 10 best sneakers dropping in March with all of their release details, so you know exactly what's going on, what you may want to buy, what you may want to pass up on. You might have to be a little selective in March because it's crazy. There's so many shoes dropping. Now, I do want to give off a couple honorable mentions before we get into the actual top 10. So let me just kick it off with Pharrell's oversized Adidas Superstar. So these are the super chunky boys. They're dropping March the 1st. The raffle is already up. I actually entered it because I actually do want to try these things out. They look pretty dope, especially on foot. Like this white colorway, it's not bad. I am kind of a sucker for chunky shoes right now. Drake's Air Forces, this time he's doing them in pink. These are dropping March the 7th. It's the exact same one as like the purple, the lilac one that they just did, except now it's pink. This is a cool one. Also on March the 1st, the Sloan Nike Air Max 90. So we got two different colorways. If you don't know who Sloan is, he's a UK artist, and he actually did a really cool job on both of these colorways. So we got the black one over here with the paint splatter, and then we've got this one which is a little bit harder to see all of the details on, but very nice color scheme with the sale. They're $150 each and are dropping March the 1st. Also March the 1st, Adidas's Fear of God Athletics Basketball Putty Beige. These ones. And another March the 1st drop, Bad Bunny's Ballerina shoe, the bold gold. These are also dropping March the 1st. These are great for someone who kind of likes the low profile shoe thing that's going on. So if you're like a fan of Sambas or Onitsuka Tiger, something like that, this could be a nice option. Personally, not for me. But getting into the top 10, kicking us off at number 10, the Jordan 4 Seafoam. These are going to be dropping March the 8th. Yes, it is a woman's exclusive, so it's only going to be in women's sizing, but it is a really clean color. I just love the seafoam look. These things with a pair of like black pants or even some light blue denim could look really dope. It looks like it's gonna have the same quality or similar quality to the craft, or what were they called, the sale ones with the gold accents. It looks like it's just like that. You got the leather strap as well. So yeah, it should be nice quality, nice colorway. I'm a fan of these things. Again, March 8th if you like them. Cool Gray 9s. The Jordan 9 Cool Gray is going to be dropping on March the 15th. These are the official images, so you can take a look at them over here. Obviously a classic pair of 9s that a lot of OGs are going to love. The last retro of these was in 2012, so yeah, over a decade later, and they are back. Let me know what you think about this. Coming in at number 8, we got a little bit of a different one. The Jeff Staple Brooks Adrenaline GTS 4. Something a little different, and I like it. You know, I'm here for, this is kind of like, I think, Brooks's first retro runner that they're kind of, you know, pushing recently. Teamed up with Jeff Staple to make a really nice colorway. Like, I will say this is one of my favorite colors on a pair of retro runners, where it's just like black and white and gray, but then you also have like these nice little infrared type hits around the outside and the logos. These look really hard. They're going to be dropping for a pretty nasty retail price of $175. Coming in at number 7, we got the Travis Scott Nike Zoom Field Jacks. This is the Lecce Blue colorway. These are going to retail for $170, and again, right now we don't have an exact date in March, but these should be dropping in March. These are some high detailed shots of these things. Very nice color, I will say that. Like, I love, you know, the Sailor Brown, classic Travis Scott, but the little hits of blue, that's a little bit of a new one. Might slightly remind you of the PlayStation dunks that he did that was insanely limited. Not the biggest fan of the little like corduroy action that's going on around the ankle area, but I mean, overall, not bad. Not my favorite silhouette, but I do think a lot of people are going to like this specific color. Coming to number 6, we got another classic. So many retros this year. We got the Flu Game 12s. Now, these are going to have an early release today, so the 26th of March, and JD Sports and Finish Line are going to be dropping them 6 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. ET, February 26th. So those are just like the early access places. That's just in the US, but the main global launch is March the 1st, actually. Yeah, so March the 1st. Going in at number 5, a pair of shoes that I almost forgot was dropping, the Jordan 1 Low Obsidian. Yes, these things are dropping this month or in March, and that is going to be on the 22nd. So here's some official images of them. Obviously, this is literally exactly the same as the the crazy hyped up highs that dropped, I think back in like what, 2019, 2020. So they're exactly the same. They're doing literally what they did with the mochas. They're just making a low cut variation, and it's nice. Obviously, if you know the original ones can be that incredibly hyped, I'm sure these are going to be in high demand as well. You got the UNC round back, and then that navy leather around the mudguard and everything, and then like all over the pair of shoes it's got like this slightly sail off-white tint. Coming in number 4, another return of a freaking OG. It's the Nike Air Max 95 Neon. These aren't going to be quite OG, like this is not just going to be coming back exactly like the original. There is going to be a small little change up. So what they're doing is they're calling this the City Edition series. How they're doing it is I think there's going to be 3 different cities that are going to be getting these. So we've got NYC, Tokyo, London, and the information is that there's going to be some kind of little motif on them. So maybe it's just like a little embroidered text somewhere on the pair of shoes, which honestly I could see making this pair of shoes even more hyped up, like having some kind of city specific thing and then maybe only region locking some of the different releases. That could be a way that people go absolutely nuts for these. Either way, they're going to be dropping on March the 26th. Obviously, I think that's Air Max Day, so they will do something pretty special for it. Coming in at number 3, the Amamenyur Air Jordan 3 Diffused Blue. We literally just took a look at these things yesterday. Great pair, phenomenal pair. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because people have been freaking stealing these things out the wazoo from Nike and the resale price on the aftermarket has been going down, it does not mean that these are a pair of shoes that people don't want. This is a great colorway. Obviously, it's an Amamenyur collaboration, so what you're getting is a very, very premium version of the OG3s. Now, these are going to be dropping on the 15th of March. Hopefully, the prices keep on going down, because if we can get these things kind of like the black pair where it was relatively easy to get, then I'll be happy with that. Either way, all I can say is that the colors are nice, the packaging is nice, the materials are nice, and I really like how they did this little detail around the back here where this blue on the midsole is all like matted out, so it's not that shiny stuff that you see on typical Jordan 3s. It's just a nice little switch up. Coming in at number 2, a heavy hitter, we got the Nike SB Jordan 4 White Navy. These are going to be dropping March the 18th. This is the follow-up colorway to the Pine Greens, and I still think the Pine Greens are better, but will that stop me or anybody else getting these things? I don't think so. I think they really like this colorway. I do too. I do think that the originals are a little bit nicer than these. I don't know why, but essentially it seems like it's all the exact same thing, like same materials, same everything, same little details. It's literally just a color switch. But at number 1, gotta be a absolute must for this month, the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 Brick by Brick. These are going to be dropping March the 14th and are just such a well done collaboration. Like, this is probably going to be sneaker of the year for a lot of people, like a lot of people, especially the industry people. I know that they're gonna love this pair of shoes. So yeah, March the 14th, $225. We just have to do what we can right now and just cross our fingers that those robbers didn't steal all of the freaking pairs. But that wraps it up for this week, guys. We do this every single Wednesday, every single Sunday, so subscribe to the channel, stay in the loop with all of the latest releases, news, and updates. And if you want to catch another video, there's one chilling. It's right over there.